I'm really excited to be here. It's been a few years where I've been putting together this really exciting portfolio in the Western USA. We're a group of 3 companies that all result from the same mother, sort of a thing. And the last 25 years I've been focused on Mexico until now. And we made a string of discoveries using very early stage generative technique that were brought to the United States. And I'm really surprised and excited that we were able to stake the things that we have. I think it's really unusual. We're focused on copper gold porphyry systems. And what's a little bit unique about where we are with this portfolio is our ability to explore it. We've got, and I mean more than the working capital that Eric spoke to. We also have diamond drills. We've got 6 of them. We've moved them up to the United States as well to do this work. Just a little kind of quick review. We've got 61 million shares out, 13 million in cash, and good working capital to do this stuff. As Eric kindly mentioned, we have made a number of discoveries, and we've done it before, and we know what is necessary to do that. And our drills really change the dynamic here. The most high risk, if risk is a factor of odds and capital, it's the initial drilling. And of course, that's the phase of which you have the greatest capital gain as well. So over the years, we figured out how to mitigate that risk, and it's owning your own drills. So we're able to go and approach. Owning your own drills allows you to be lower cost, obviously, but it also allows you a flexibility to be able to go and test a concept very early on. And in our case, our drills have a capacity to drill to, well, we've got a hole down to 1,800 meters in the past. We also do our own geophysics. The top there is my crew chief doing IP on these projects, which is key. And the portfolio is fairly large. The plans this year are to bring it from some of the preliminary work that we've done that have defined the targets right up to our ability to drill. Many of them have drill permits in place already. So we'll be doing this kind of geophysical work, and that's our diamond drill in operation in Nevada. We're focused on something that is called porphyry lithocaps. It's porphyry deposits have been known for nearly a century. The big boom in exploration for them was in the 70s, where around the world there was just a handful of known porphyry deposits, and it went up to tens of thousands exploration around the world. One of the key things that's been identified in the last 30 years and better understood in the last 20 years in terms of great detail is the hot fluids that are coming out from that purple thing at the bottom, which is what we're looking for. They move up and they change the rock. If you have permeable rocks, into a variety of different sulfate, clay, and other kind of silicate minerals. And you can identify those minerals, which are very particular to this process. You can identify that you're above a porphyry or near a porphyry. And a lot of these deposits have been explored where they're exposed. We think that the future of deposits will be looking for porphyries that aren't exposed, that are deeply buried. And what I'm amazed by is that this is the focus of porphyry exploration in the Andes and Indonesia, and it hasn't been in the Western United States. These porphyry lithocaps have never been evaluated, and particularly where we're tracing out younger magmatic arcs across the United States. The bottom picture there shows an exposed porphyry deposit, and you can see the nice donut shade in the clay, and the top one shows where you're in these piles of bleached rock above, that's in the Andes. And so that little machine there enables us to identify the key minerals. Why porphyries? Because they're the greatest prize that there is. There's few deposit types that have more metal endowment and are as rich as porphyry. So what we're doing, they're early stage projects, but we're shooting for the moon. We're shooting for the biggest target there is. We have the ability to identify that you are in that environment. So you place yourself in the environment, and then it's a function of drilling. In the Western United States, there's a lot of gold that's being produced from these porphyry lithocaps. A good example is Goldfields, Nevada, where I think 10 million ounces was produced. To my knowledge, nobody's drilled the 1 kilometer holes that you need to drill underneath that to see if there's a big porphyry lurking underneath. So Here's an example. I've got a couple of examples of real-world porphyries before I lead into a brief discussion of our projects. This is a mineral called porphyllite that capped the El Salvador porphyry, and the bottom of the porphyllite coincides almost perfectly with the top of the copper zone. So identifying that mineral in particular using that machine is pretty key. You may not have heard of this, but this is probably one of the most fabulous discoveries that's been made of a hidden porphyry deposit potentially ever. It's 3 billion tons of very high grade. It was found in the Indonesian archipelago, and basically it was barren at surface. That white bleach material, these guys, this Valley Discovery team, which I understand are winning our highest award for discovery at the PDAC this year, and well-deserved, spent a little bit of time in this white bleached rock, but they drilled, and 500 meters down, they found this Onto discovery. So this is fairly recent, and but this is where we're going to find our deposits of the future. We're focused on the Western United States for key reasons. Mexico is a great place, but we struggled there, and we think that geopolitically the world is shifting. I work with my dad, who's 84 and has been around the world in this industry, as have I, and I think being closer to the heartland is going to be very key in very uncertain geopolitical times. We've traced these rocks and two different arcs across a number of states, and that's where our projects are located. I'll give you a very brief introduction to them, and then tell you a little bit more about what our plans are for this year. This one here is near Paradise Peak, which produced 2 million ounces in a high sulfidation system, which is the gold deposit you find above porphyries. And across the valley, we found a large porphyry lithocap. It's 4.5 kilometers by 2 kilometers. We poked a couple of preliminary holes in that you might be able to see up there, one of them down to a kilometer. We know we're high up in the system here, but we hit porphyry B veins, chalcopyrite, and we confirmed the presence of a porphyry in this system. First time ever recognized. So our job now is to figure out which way to go. So that's the next step on this particular property. We have a porphyry lithocap that we identified in southeastern Arizona. It's about 30-odd kilometers from the Safford district, where Freeport has got, I think, about 5 million tons of oxide and the Morenci deposit. So we're in elephant country. We have identified at surface a 600-meter zone, oval, circular zone where we've got sheeted quartz magnetite veining, which is typical of what you find immediately above a porphyry with the porphyry lithocap preserved. So this is a drill target with a drill permit in place. We've got something called Pilot, which we've staked. Again, all these properties were acquired by staking. We've got copper at surface. It's historically been mined for turquoise. We've got a massive porphyllite blanket, which is that mineral I was telling you about, which forms through cooling of these volatiles that are hot fluids that are coming out of a porphyry at depth. So we've got copper, we've got the alteration, we've typecast it as a porphyry system, and it's ready for drilling with excellent access in Nevada. We've got this large porphyry lithocap that also was mined historically for turquoise, acquired by staking in Colorado State. It's a very, very large porphyry lithocap, extensive quartz alunite alteration, gold at surface, and we expect to be advancing this aggressively as well this year. Two other ones I'll tell you about briefly: Confusion Hills and Red Ring, large alteration zones. We've done soils. We plan geophysics. We've got anomalous gold at surface. They're big quartz silica ledges, which are, again, part of this nexus of alteration that forms above porphyries. We've got another project here where we've got copper skarns, and we think there's a porphyry around, again, acquired by staking, and also in Nevada with good copper and moly at surface. We've got a number of epithermal systems. That's also my bread and butter. I did my master's studying how to find hidden vein deposits, and we made a discovery like that in Mexico, and we got a few of these things we're picking up. We've got a Carlin system that we acquired by staking in northern Nevada. A number of projects and royalties. We've got a portfolio of royalties which result from our past exploration, and a little bit of an anchor project. We've got a 17 million tons, 2 million tons of indicated on top of that of about 4 to 5% zinc resource with a resource report in Yukon. And yeah, I'm on red here, so just to summarize, we got a whole new portfolio of projects we put together, the capital and means and the know-how to go and approach them, and we're going to be quite aggressive with our drill rig this year. Thank you so much for listening.